lot of criticism there of China. Is the Prime Minister right to have gone?
The Prime Minister, since being elected, has returned Britain back to the table as a trusted partner, and that matters. One thing he's been very clear about, he will never compromise on national security. China is the third largest trading partner. 60 CEOs have accompanied him. Of course, this is really important. Diplomacy is about having shared interests, finding common interests that you can work on. That doesn't mean to say we shy away from some of the other challenges, the Jimmy Lai, human rights, and these are not things that a pragmatic leader like Keir Starmer will shy away from. But equally, he knows that this relationship is really important and we've got to build allies. And I'm sorry, under the Conservatives, under David Cameron, the sale of the embassy that we're talking about took place in 2018. And let's not forget GCHQ and MI5 have written a letter saying that they're satisfied with the mitigations that have taken place. It's an independent decision taken by the Secretary of State for Housing and Local Government. And of course, this will be kept under review. I have great confidence in our intelligence services and in MI5. And like I said, the Prime Minister will never compromise on national security.
Second, Preet, just answer that point.
I think that's no choice at all. On one hand, you're saying, yes, you understand we've got to have diplomatic relationships because we've got to find common shared grounds. At the same time, you can have the difficult conversations, all of the issues that Tim and Ian have raised. These are things, of course, the Prime Minister pragmatically will be raised. He's a human rights lawyer prior to coming to Parliament. He understands this better than probably all of us.
Anita?
But I do think the UK government approach is not to really understand China's motivations and what it really desires, but instead to see this as a straightforward transactional relationship as you would have with any other country. And that is what I think is going to be a huge challenge.
Answer that.
None of the issues that you've raised are things that Keir Starmer or the Cabinet haven't actually addressed. They're absolutely happy to address head-on these issues. And businesses, the country expects a Prime Minister who is going to go out and bat for them in their best interests economically, but clearly on the other issues, as you say, I know Keir Starmer will pragmatically address these issues. Fundamentally, national security matters, and we've made that very clear. We won't compromise. You've got to continuously renew this. Let's not forget the Chinese already have 9 different sites. Bringing them all in one place, GCHQ and MI5 have actually said that's a good thing. The mitigations, they do seem satisfied. Let's not forget, our intelligence services are aware of their remit. They deal with embassies here. This is not the first time we're having an embassy in the United Kingdom. We know that there is espionage and transnational repression by many countries. Of course, our intelligence services will be aware of that.
That poses the biggest single threat we have faced since the end of the Second World War.
OK. Preet, just answer that point there.
Well, look, I think one of the things that we've all agreed and said is we've got to have a relationship with China, and you do need to have dialogue. The only way you really build trust and able to talk about some of the difficult issues and security issues are if you have a relationship in the first place. It is right that the Prime Minister visits. The last visit was in 2018. German leaders have gone. We've seen the Canadian Prime Minister attend. It's not that Western leaders are not engaging. They understand
I was going to put
we
that
must engage.
point, actually, to Tim and Anita about the fact that other world leaders have gone recently.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that ministers go. I'm not against a visit at all. I just think that the UK spends, in some ways, it spends a lot of time trying to really, really understand America and sometimes thinks America is like the UK. It spends so little time trying to understand the nuances, complexities and motivations of a lot of China. And so, therefore, we see it as a straightforward transactional relationship. We see it as Preet keeps saying, oh, we're going to address these issues. I don't know what that meaningfully means when you're talking about something such as Ukraine. And so I don't think we take our hard power, real kind of strategic approach
UN
to doing
Security
this.
Council. I mean, that's really important. Of course, we don't accept their position in terms of Russia, but they do have a seat on the UN Security Council. We do have to work with them on these issues.
When all said and done, I feel there are some crossovers here, some similarities with how the Prime Minister has had his posture towards Donald Trump in America. And it feels that that posture is one of subservience, of kowtowing, of trying to make compromises. And if it looks like, and I really regret this, but if it looks like the world is settling into camps, it's blindingly obvious which camp the UK should be in terms of expanding our trade, our prosperity and our security. And it's our friends just over the channel in Europe. And so by all means, maintain diplomatic relations with these people, but they are not reliable trading partners or allies. They are often up to deeply wicked stuff that is against the national security of this country. Over the water, we have several 100 million people who do share our values, and with an economy where we could grow massively our own prosperity, that's where he should be focused.
Okay. The world as we find it, given that it's contested, it isn't a choice just between the EU and China, it's both. You've got to do both.
OK, Ian, look, before you go, you're here and obviously you're a former Conservative leader. A lot of your colleagues leaving to go to Reform UK, Suella